Boy, this COVID thing has turned people's lives upside down. First, they were talking about COVID-19. Then they were talking about the Delta variant. Now they're talking about the Omicron variant. It's like, when is this ever going to stop? We got social distancing. We can't go anywhere without a mask on. You have to go into places. You have to have a mask. It's like, you got to get vaccinated. Who knows how many times we have to get vaccinated? The life is not the same as it used to be. And I don't know if this is your situation or not, but this is precisely one of the reasons why I decided to make this channel. Because what I've discovered is, and I'm sure you've seen it too, there's so many people, not only have their lives been turned upside down, but they've been forced to make a change. A lot of people have to reinvent themselves. And what I discovered is that a lot of those people who are forced to make a change, who are forced to reinvent themselves in some way, they have to start a new profession, find a new job, create a new business, or whatever it is. A lot of those people have no clue about how to do that. And that's the reason why I decided to make this channel. My name's Anthony Smith. You can call me Tony if you want to. No, I really would like you to call me Tony. My situation was quite different about 18 years ago whenever I decided under my own initiative to leave the company that I loved so dearly, which was Nike, to pursue what I believed back then and I still believe to be my true calling in life, which is to help as many people as I can to improve their quality of life. I really believe that that's why I'm here. And I also decided something else, that whenever I made that change, I said, when I'm successful, I'm going to share what I did to those who might need it. First thing I did was I wrote a book called The Courage to Change. It consists of 5 steps. I'm going to talk about that on this channel. I'm going to talk about what those 5 steps are. So what the funny thing though was, whenever I decided to make that change, because I felt that there was just something inside of me that told me, I was like, Tone, you've been put on this earth to do something different. And if you've never thought in those terms before, it might sound really strange. But I know there's a lot of people out there who believe that they have a true calling in life. If you're one of them, leave me a comment here below. I would love to know what it is. And you know what the funny thing though was? Whenever I decided to make that change, it was kind of like when you buy a new car, or when you decide you want to buy a new car. Maybe you haven't even bought it yet, but you just decided that you want that particular kind of car. You know the color and everything. And then when you go outside, what happens? What do you see? You see cars out there just like that, right? The reality is that those cars have always been there. You just haven't noticed them before. And I ran into a woman who was pregnant, and she told me the same thing. She said, ever since I've been pregnant, I started noticing just how many women out there are pregnant. Those women have always been there. Not the same ones, but there's always been pregnant women out there. You just haven't noticed them before because now you're focused on it. And so that's what happened to me. Whenever I decided to make that change, I started to notice just how many people out there who felt just like I felt, who thought they should have been happy in a great job, great career, or maybe just having really great job security, great 401k or whatever. But they weren't happy and they didn't understand why. And I found that I could put those people into 3 different categories. The first category was the kind of person that I ran into who knew what they didn't want, but they didn't know what they did want. They just knew that they didn't want this anymore. But if you asked them what do they want to do, they didn't know. And they need help figuring that out. The second kind of person that I ran into was the kind of person who also wanted to make a change. They didn't want this anymore. They believed they knew what they wanted though, but they didn't know the steps that they needed to take to get there. They didn't know how that would be possible. And they needed help figuring that out. And then the third kind of person that I ran into was the kind of person who knew they wanted to make a change. They believed they knew what they wanted. They believed they knew the steps to take to get there. But when they started thinking about job security, the salary, the benefits, all that stuff, they just couldn't find the courage to take that step. And so I don't know if you fit into one of those categories or not, or if you fit into the category of those people whose lives have been turned upside down and you need to make a change. You are forced to make a change. Whatever your situation is, if you fall into any of those categories, stay here with me. Stay here with me, because that's the reason I created this channel. I decided a long time ago, I said, whenever I'm successful with this, I want to share what I did, which doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do what I do. I will never tell you that. You will never hear me say that you should do what I did. Or you will never hear me say that because I worked in Nike and Levi's and I did this, that you should do that too, because your situation is probably very, very different from mine. But the concepts that I will share with you are the same. They're the same. Those 5 steps that I talked about before are the same. If you want to make lasting change, all you need to do is follow those five steps. And I know you're curious, but I don't want to dedicate this video to that. Just stay with me here on the channel. And I also want to tell you this, and I want to leave you with this thought, this little story that I want to tell. You might not fit into one of those categories. Your situation might be a different one, like a nurse that I ran into. Now, one of the things that we're going to talk about in all these videos, and I have a list already of 137, yes, 137 different topics that I want to share with you, and I'm going to continue to add to that. I will tell you that how important it is, if you haven't heard this before, that if you really want to achieve your goals, whatever they are, however big or however small they are, you can try to do it alone if you want to, but my experience is that can take a very long time. If you want to go about it the fastest way possible, you need to get somebody to help you. And one of the ways is to surround yourself with like-minded people, people who have already done what you're trying to do, people who have the same goals. And when you get yourself in a community like that, you're going to find that there's some people are going to be way ahead of you. Some people are going to be behind you. Some people are going to be at your same level, but you will get ideas from all those people that will help you to move forward. So the story that I want to tell you is about a course that I was in. It was a year-long coaching program that took me to sometimes the different cities, but it was also online. And I remember we were in Phoenix, and there were about 500 of us in the program, and we had gone to a baseball game that night. We were walking back to the hotel after the game, and I ran into a couple. And as you can imagine, 500 people, you don't know everybody. So I ran into this couple I had met just for the first time that was also part of the program. And we had a really pleasant conversation. And the woman, who was the wife in this couple, because we did what people typically do when you meet each other. So where are you from? What do you do? And she had just finished explaining to me that she had a career in healthcare. And I really I complimented her for what she's doing, because I said, the world needs more people like you. She just told me this great story, and I was like, wow, that's just so great. And then she asked me, it was my turn to tell what I did. And so I told her that, about 18 years ago, I left a company that I really loved, and because I felt I had a calling in life. And so after all these years, I feel like I've been successful at it. I'm really happy as a coach, trying to help as many people as I can to improve their quality of life. I do that in the business sector. I also do that for individuals and groups. And as I was telling her this, I just glanced over at her, and then I stopped at a certain point because I saw that she was tearing up. And so I was like, damn, I must have said so. So I was like, did I say something to offend you? And she was like, no. And she was wiping her tears away. And she was like, no, you didn't offend me at all. And I said, well, did I say something wrong? I'm sorry. I didn't really mean to, And she was like, no, not really. And so but she smiled when she said that. And so I was just looking at her, and I was like, so now you got me curious. So what's going on? And she said, whenever you said that you had the courage to leave that company that you were working for to pursue what you believe to be your calling in life, she said, that's what I've been thinking about for the last 10 years. I don't like what I do. I know it's a great profession, but I don't like it. I don't want to do this anymore. And as she was telling me this, her eyes were just filling up more with tears. And if I had known her better, I probably would have given her a hug and told her, but what I told her is that, there's a lot of people out there like that who, when they get up in the morning, they're not happy. But they do it anyway, and because for a lot of different reasons. And so I was telling her about this program that I had, and I said, I'm gonna start a channel and everything. She said, when you do, you just let me know because I really need some pushing along and everything. So the reason why I wanted to finish this video, this opening video with that little story, because you might find yourself in one of those three categories that I mentioned before. You might find yourself in a situation where you have to change, you have to reinvent yourself, and maybe you're not sure how to do it, or you need some guidance about that, or you need some ideas. Or you might be like the nurse, and you might be in a situation like you've been thinking about this for a long time. Because that's another thing that the COVID situation has done to people. Some people, after they've been working in smart working for a long time, they've been outside the company for a while, they've been laid off or furloughed. They've been thinking, you know what? I don't even know if I want to go back to that again. I don't even like that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore, But they still don't know how to get to the next step in their life, into the next phase of their life. So whatever your situation is, if you fit into one of those categories or you just feel lost, you need some guidance from somebody who understands you, who has made a change successfully in their life, then stay here with me on this channel because I have so many things to tell you. Share with me where you are in your life right now. Leave a comment here below and let's get started. I'll see you in the next video.